And we're live.
I got my hair cut, and my barber, we were talking about Joe Rogan, and he's like, I don't care for his comedy. And I'm like, man, you got to see his new special. It's amazing. And he's like, no, Joe Rogan's comedy is not good. Like, I was on that team until this special, and he could not be convinced that Joe Rogan could possibly be funny.
Speaking of Joe, like a boost to Joe Rogan, it's not a stand-up. His most recent podcast with Jordan Peterson, I think it is. I listened to it yesterday, and Chiz linked it to me today, being like, you got to watch this. This is really interesting. It was super, super fucking interesting. I don't listen to many Joe Rogan podcasts because I just go by the guest, you know, if it's like Jim Norton, Bill Burr.
He has a lot of misses to me.
He has a lot of people that I'm not interested in at all, like UFC fighters, so I just skip it. But I listened to a previous Jordan Peterson one, and it was really good. And so when this guy's popped up, it's like, oh, fuck yeah, let's see what this guy has to say. But he's got...
What's it about? What's his area
really
of expertise?
Just like, he's a professor from Canada who... I'm trying to remember what the thing was that got him into hot water.
Are we sure it was interesting?
It was really interesting because he bounced around to so much shit. Like the whole thing is him like talking about how, cultural Marxism and postmodernism and all these things aren't just on, an assault on language of trying to passively control people. It's also, indirect, really just kind of undermining all of Western civilization as a whole. And he makes a lot of really, really interesting points about all of this shit. So I'd recommend people listen to that. I can't possibly articulate half the stuff he said a tenth as well as he said it. And it was hard. Like, it was one of those podcasts where I never do this when I'm listening to podcasts, but I'd like actually be listening for like 4 minutes and then be like, wait, what? Wait, I don't know. What the fuck are you talking about, man? And then go back. And I know it's interesting because there was some stuff that he'd say that like, I'd be like, oh, that's so stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And then he'd get a little more into his reasoning. And it's like, damn it, like against myself, I'm even kind of seeing his point of view. But yeah, definitely check him out.
But was it all about how liberals are mind controlling?
No. It wasn't. No. His thing is more like he's frustrated about language. This is what it was. He is very aggravated by people trying to take control of linguistics and say like, you can't call me this gender pronoun because I'm a male. You have to call me Zer or Z or whatever. And he like started by getting, because you've heard about that, where they're like, I'm not a him or a she or a her. Call me, fee, fi, fo, fum or whatever.
I sometimes fuck with people who assume my gender.
Yeah, see, it's that kind of thing. And he was like, he got in a lot of hot water initially for being like, no, I'm not placating to you guys. You're not going to come into the English language and dictate how these rules are. Because it's not just a matter of the English here. It's a matter of this, that, and the other thing. And this is what you're undermining. And these are the, kind of tendrils of influence in this kind of same movement to control speech and things like that. It was really, really interesting. And it wasn't some liberal bashing thing. Like liberals, like Joe Rogan has a ton of fucking people. And of course, even the liberals watching it are like, yeah, because most liberals aren't like that, who are like, I demand you call me Z or Zer or call them Zim or Dim. Like they're not like that. They're like, well, let's back off that. But he's really just attacking that from the intellectual academic angle of like, these people are so they're trying to force things that they don't understand because they have a bankrupt ideology.
So let me pose this. My impression on those people is that they are not organized and they don't have a cohesive underlying goal. They're just kind of fuckheads who spent too much time on Tumblr.
But he's not. No. He makes a point about that. He's like, I'm not. These people individually, he's like, I have no problem with them at all. Like, if you're an adult, do what you want. What I have a problem with is these professors and academics and people in media trying to dictate that language must change now, and the reality of our language must change in order to basically adapt to things that aren't reality, that aren't verified.
My observation on that,
and I'm explaining this so fucking
kind
bad.
of barely on this team. I think they're just trying not to be mean. I see someone who says, I'm not really a guy. And I say, oh, you're having a hard time. And I don't want to step on your neck. I'll call you Zimbabwe or whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. Z? Is that a thing? Like, whatever the fuck you want to be called. Because clearly you have a mental health issue right now. In the same way that someone who wishes they had one arm instead of two has a mental health issue. And I feel the same sympathy for you that I would for a person who wished they were an amputee.
And that's why and then he'd be on the same side as you, at least with most of that, because personally, he's like, yeah, I feel bad. I think a lot of these people are struggling or whatever. And I don't, I'm not mad at them individually. Like, unless they're berating people saying like, I demand you call me, Zim. Like I am not a him. I'm Zim. Like,
did you see the thing on Reddit? They were like, I'm going to say 4 or 5 white guys. They look like frat brothers or something, but they had a poncho on and they were celebrating Cinco de Mayo, and they got like accosted by this person with the camera saying that they weren't allowed to celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah. Did you see this video at all? It would be hard to find.
But I can visualize it very well. Yeah. I'm picturing 5 white guys, probably khaki shorts, flip flops. They got a polo on underneath that poncho. Maybe a sombrero in the group.
Business.
Maybe a sombrero in the group. Lot of PBR in the mix. They're on a sidewalk. Lots of green grasses, some frat houses in the background, and then some assholes
saying, pretty close.
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, and she was the one filming, and she was just saying, you are not allowed to do this. You're like all these problems. And I just like, oh my God, I was so on their side. And I don't want to, well.
Didn't you just want to crack open and like do a Mexican hat dance right in front of
I just like, I guess I'm on the side of openness and peace and blending. Look, if you bring Cinco de Mayo into American culture and now we have a 4th of July, like another one, fine, knock yourself out. To me, I don't really celebrate the 4th of July to mean the birth of our country. Maybe some people will get mad at that. 4th of July to me is a good time to spend time with people I care about and not work. Like that.
We have a 4-hour moment of silence where we just stare at the flag.
What 4th of July means to me is like bad for you food. I don't drink beer, but I think to a lot of people that's part of it. And it's just some good times, some relaxation, and company that you enjoy. That's what.
What if a black person is celebrating St. Patrick's Day? Do we attack that person? If we see a black girl with like some green shamrocks on her cheeks, she's got one of those funky shillelagh hats or whatever the hell, and she's like doing a little Irish jig out there, while with a big Guinness in her hand. Like, do we just take her down from the knees?
I don't even know what
Kyle,
St. Patrick's notable accomplishments were. I'm sorry, Taylor.
He banished the snakes from Ireland.
Kyle, you couldn't do. She wouldn't be racist because see. On the hierarchy, the black woman, she's lower than you, and so you have to treat her differently, almost like a child. You wouldn't hold her to the same standard because that would be racist.
What St. Patrick's Day is to me, it's nighttime 4th of July, right? It's nighttime 4th of July, and you go out and you spend time with people you like, and you drink beer, although I don't drink beer, and it's revelry and fun. Like it. I don't know. Just throw Cinco de Mayo. We could use another one. Sounds great.